Hello, everybody. My name is Darren Nielsen, and I'm a concerned citizen. And I would like to express my concerns. Um, in this government, this corrupt government that we have, I'm a logical person. Been using computers. I've built computers for a long, long time, and I just wanted to show how like everybody knows about hard drives. Everybody knows about computers. Pretty well, everybody. And within a computer, I'm just going to show you a little diagram here. You can see that it shows how this is like a partition, sort of, right? In all hard drives, we have a partition where the um, where different, like here I have liberal, conservative, and others, but within a partition you can have like Windows 10 and Windows whatever and another Linux and several different operating systems, and you can use a thing called partition magic or any kind of partition management to look after, run different hard operating systems. Well, in our political system, we're sort of the same thing. We have a system here that we're built upon. It's called the Constitution. And that allows the different, like liberal, conservatives, others, PPC, Green Party, whatever they all are. And the problem is that here in Canada, we have a corrupt um, playing field where where it's they don't have any power because of the fact that, or where they have power, they have all power, absolutely. And the problem is that within this system, because of the corrupt playing field, they can do whatever they want. If they don't have a constitution to hold them accountable, they can do what they want. And they have been doing that. As we see with Justin Trudeau, we have constantly seen him um, doing things like you Lavalan. We see that right there where he didn't agree with the decision being made about what he's doing. So what does he do? He fires the highest judge in the land. I mean, you can't do that. And if he had the rules set out plainly and that he can't break them, he couldn't do that. We have a corrupt system here. And all these other political groups coming along, Wexit and PPC and all these other, they are playing on a corrupt system here. They can't do nothing. The liberal and conservatives and all the other parties will just outvote them. And we know that. We've seen it happen many, many times in Canada. I have a few examples of some people here. There's a man named called Norman uh, Traversy, and he went up against Trudeau because of the SNC Lavalin scandal, and he brought what was called a private persecution or prosecution, brought it to a judge in Ottawa, I believe it was, and they were going to, we have that right. It's in our constitution, and but because of, again, corrupt playing field, it was shut down. He went before. This is back in the election, back in 2019. I think it was like back in September. He's supposed to have his day. Well, they didn't show up. They said, well, the judge is sick. Okay, well, like there's no other judges in Ottawa, just one judge, but that judge was sick, so that was thousands of dollars lost. He had to send that lawyer that he had back home, 6 or 7 hour travel for this guy, put him up, paid for his time, everything. That money went down the tube. So we had another one in October. It was about 10 days before the election, and they showed up again with boxes and boxes of evidence and thumbnails of all the phone calls made by the people intimidating and taking pokes at Jody Raybolt's, and they locked the door. Him and his lawyer showed up at 9 o'clock, knocking on the door politely, let us in, and they basically had the court case without him there, and they stayed it because of lack of evidence. Well, he had boxes of evidence there to prove it. Why did this happen? Maybe because of a corrupt playing field. So they come back. This lawyer is really smart that he had. He came back and he brought forth which is called a writ of mandamus. which basically says this court tells this court over here, do your job. Well, this court said, I got no jurisdiction, so gone. Why? Corrupt playing field. We are under a corrupt system here. And the reason it's corrupt, we don't have a constitution. And you could stand and yell at me all you want. 1982's Constitution Act was nothing but a tissue of lies. He did not have the power to tell us what he wants. And if you look at that, it's all for the government and nothing for the people. They have complete control over it. Why? Because corrupt playing field. My suggestion is get rid of that playing field. If we have a hard drive and it goes corrupt, what do? We don't play with it. We don't try and repair it, get a little glue in there. Maybe you can fix those platters. No, you get rid of the hard drive or you replace the computer. Most times they just replace the hard drive, get everything off they can and replace it. Well, that's what I'm suggesting. Get rid of the playing field. Get rid of the corrupt playing field. Start again. We need a new constitution for the people, by the people. That puts the power in our hands, not some money-hungry, $250,000 a year politicians. Most of them, that's all they care about. They want the money. They want to run for 3-4 years, and then they can get their retirement fund, which we the people have to pay for, and that's it. Pass the buck on to the next person. So again, my suggestion is get rid of the corrupt playing field. Get rid of it. Start fresh. There's a movement out there called Unify the People. It's at unifythepeople.ca. It's a group of Canadian citizens who are concerned about this. And all these other parties and stuff, trying to, whoa, we got a lot. No, we don't need to. We need to clear out the corrupt playing field. Get rid of this. Start fresh. We will have the rights of the people looked after before the rights of the politicians and the elitists and the corporations. We all know this. We've seen corporation after corporation bailed out. We've seen judges thrown out, just fired. You go. Trudeau has done it. He didn't like the results that he was getting from Jody Raybould. So what's he do? Fires her. How is that possible? How can that happen in a lawful society? Corrupt playing field. They can get away with it. We have to stop this. We have to put an end to this corrupt playing field. Say, sorry, there is no constitution. There hasn't ever been a constitution. And if you don't really understand that or not, go to Unify the People. There is lots of documentation about it. There's a thing called the BNA Act, British North American Act, which was brought about by our old British, the Queen, not Queen Elizabeth, Queen, well, it would have been Queen Victoria's father, whoever that was. I don't know the name. But that whole time, up until Queen Elizabeth, or till Queen Victoria, she realized that they were going bankrupt, that they couldn't afford to continuously pay out money to all these different, Australia, New Zealand, India, all the other British types of countries. They realized that they couldn't afford them anymore. So at her death, during her life, she said, okay, at my death, that's the end of it. There is no more monarchy over the rest of these countries. They have a right to make their own political system, their own constitution. Well, we had that chance. We had that chance back in 1901. And the politicians, the political people of that era pretended it didn't happen. And they just went along like it was nothing, like it never happened. So we have been lied to for a long time. And we need to stand up as the people and say, no more. We're creating our own constitution. Go to unifythepeople.ca. Have a look. You will see that there are people who have been putting together a constitution for each province. And that's another thing. We do not have a federation of all these provinces. There's no federation papers. There's actually a reward of $25,000 being offered up for the federation papers. There is none. There's actually a lady, her name is Donna Farrelly, who went to court to challenge the Federation about this. You know what happened? She brought all her documentation, all her evidence, brought it before them, and they just shook their heads and go, oh no, there is nothing. We're not going to have a case. And they didn't even hear it. They listened. They knew that they were completely out of their element there because there is no foundation. They don't have foundation to build upon. So they just ignored it. Went, oh, we're just going to pretend it didn't happen. And that's where she got shut down. So here we are today. Now we're fighting against a corrupt government who are trying to press their will upon us, like the UN 21, all the stuff we see going on here. This is all just, smoke and mirrors to keep our attention off of the fact that we have no constitution in Canada. It's all a lie. That 1982 constitution, you saw Pierre Elliott Trudeau and this thing from UK, who had no, first of all, she has no right. It was passed back then and during her great-grandmother's time that they cannot be divided. She cannot come and live or be a queen over different countries. That was done away with. It was all illegal, what they did. And you should be mad as hell about this. You should be mad as hell. Stand up and say, enough of this crap. We're not going to take this. We're going to form our own. Enough people stand up. We will have the numbers. And they have no choice but to turn over and just give it to us. Anyways, this is going on for 11 minutes. I don't want to be too long. So this is Darren from UTP, unifythepeople.ca. Go and look. You will be surprised. Have a great day.